It's a beautiful Wednesday, September 17th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. And Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium is about to be unhinged at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. And I cannot wait to be a part of it, Ted. This is going to be an amazing atmosphere.
Yep. It's going to be big. It's going to be loud. It's going to be hostile. Everything that you need. It's, I don't know. After how much fun the Michigan game was, I think everyone's really looking forward to this one. And hey, man, we got a defense, so that means the crowd is a factor in the football game. I love it.
I guess there's a discussion going on about like how OU fans should treat Jackson Arnold. Our fans aren't vile. That's not who we are. That's not how we do it. But the guy plays for the other team. What are we even talking about here?
Right. Yeah.
Do everything you can to make sure he's as miserable as he can possibly be when he's out there on the field. I mean, what are we even talking about? He plays for the other team.
I imagine the student section is probably going to have some stuff and let them hear it throughout the game. All in good fun, right? It's
Don't cross the line, but try to make him as miserable as possible. I mean, that should be the goal anytime a team comes and plays in Norman.
And then as soon as the game is over, you wish him luck and, give him a golf clap, whatever you need to do to set things straight. But throughout the game, let's get him thinking about it a little bit. The ghosts of Sooners past show up.
No doubt. All right, so we've got Jason Campbell on this episode. Great interview. And then Thursday at 11 a.m., our most robust in the weeds of all time with our buddy Cole Kublick previewing some of the keys to victory in OU-Auburn. It's awesome. If you want to learn ball, this in the weeds is for you.
It's good because Cole, he studies the SEC as much or more than anyone else, and he knows Auburn. He knows this team inside out, so it's a good one.
We are also 590 subscribers away from 30,000 on YouTube.
Big time.
Help us out. Subscribe. Help us get to 30,000.
What are we doing?
Come on, guys. Help. All right, let's dive into this thing, man. Let's start with OU's defense against Auburn's offense. What are you watching for, Ted?
Personnel-wise, I think this is the best team that we faced all the way around. Really good receiving core. Cobb, their back, I really like. I think their offensive line is physical. They seem to be, they know where they're going. Like you'll see teams that struggle going to the right guys. This offensive line feels like they've got a really good feel of where they're going. They play physical. They come off the ball. And Jackson Arnold at quarterback Bryce Underwood's eventually going to be the best quarterback probably that we face this year. But Jackson Arnold he's a good thrower. He's athletic. He has all the physical tools you want at quarterback. I still think he operates slow. I still don't think he sees coverage particularly well, but athletically, run game, called run, pulling it down, off schedule run, and arm strength. He checks all the boxes physically. And the more seat time he gets in this offense, you feel like the quicker he's going to operate. But they don't have what I would consider a robust passing game. It is a lot of RPO stuff, quick reads, balls coming out of his hand right now, sitting back, trust and protection and reading through progressions, not his strong point at all. And I think Hugh Freeze and those offensive coaches, there's 7 coordinators that call plays. I think they do a really good job of trying to limit the tough spots that they put him in with how they call plays. Um, just going through the personnel again, running back Cobb, I think he's really good. He's got great speed. He's got good vision. He's got a real good feel for their run game of where he's taking it. He'll cut it back. He's got good moves in the open field. He's not the most physical running back that we've faced, but he is physical. He'll pour it downhill. The wide receiver group, Singleton, I think is really good, and he's one of those, I don't know, Swiss Army, not call it whatever you want. They'll use him in a bunch of ways. Jet sweeps, tunnels, quick game. He is explosive. He's got really good quick movement, change of direction. He's tough to tackle. Coleman, 8. I think he's about as put together of a wide receiver as you're going to see. Probably 6'3", 210 pounds, 215 maybe. He's a pretty big guy. Horatio Fields, number 5. He's another good player. It's the best group of wide receivers that we've faced so far by a mile. And maybe it's one of the best or the best that you'll face all year. They're tied in. Frazier, 87. Think he's a good player. He's not a huge target in the passing game, but he's a good all-around tight end. He's an SEC tight end, 6'7", 265, 270 pounds, does a really good job in the running game for him. And then I don't know what you think, but to me, the right guard, 77, is their best offensive lineman. He moves people now, 350 pounds. He comes off the ball. He plays violently. I don't know, is he the best interior offensive lineman we've seen so far?
No doubt about it. I
Yeah.
like the center too.
Yeah.
I think the center is you mentioned that they're always going the right place. I think it's because they've got a smart veteran center that gets all those guys on the same page.
Yep.
But yes, 77 is an absolute mauler, dude.
He is. Yep. He comes off the ball and
He looks massive on tape.
well, he is massive. 6'5", 350 pounds, and everyone goes backwards with him. So I'm honestly excited to see him and Jaden Jackson, him and Dominic Williams, those guys go at it, and it's going to be a really good test. As far as what their offense is, the good thing is this isn't anything you haven't seen. Inside zone, outside zone, they'll run some of the counter and power stuff. They'll do the same things with the quarterback that we've seen, the jet sweep action, and then quarterback power counter downhill. They'll run Jackson Arnold on some individual run plays, getting empty and run tight end and run like split zone quarterback stuff. And we've seen the same stuff. Like, we know this offense. This is the most common offense that you'll see in college football in today's game. RPO action. I think we're going to get a lot of RPO, a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of screens, a lot of quick game, get the ball out of the quarterback's hand. They are, like I said earlier, they do not want him in third and long to where he has to drop back, read things out, and make throws. They will essentially they would prefer to be in fourth and short than they would third and long. So when they're in third and long, it's not your traditional drop back pass. You got to be ready for the run. And, they're going to try and get it in a fourth. And as long as they're middle of the field area or going in, third and long is not where they want to be. They're going to try and get it to, fourth and manageable and see if they can go for it. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty straightforward game. I'm curious to see how Venables plays it because of they've got some extra levers. Michigan, big run football team, but it's way more what you see is what you get, right? Here it comes. Can you stop it? Auburn loves to run the ball, and that's where they want to live, but they're going to pull it and stress you with RPO more than anyone that we've seen. And we know that Jackson Arnold he's not the best we're going to face at reading those things out. I still feel like I think he's gotten better, but I still feel like he's guessing a lot of the time on that and hoping he's right. But, they're going to find ways to use our aggressiveness on defense against us.
Yeah. I really think, and I totally get it with the circumstances, right? Everyone's talking about Jackson Arnold and his return and what he can do with his legs and how challenging that is for a defense. But I really believe shutting down what I call the traditional run game with Jeremiah Cobb's the key to the game for OU because Hugh Freeze, especially this year, has shown a willingness to just run the rock. And all the RPO stuff that they do is based off their traditional run game. And if the traditional run game is efficient, then that affects OU's safeties. And that's when the RPO stuff starts to open up is when those safeties start feeling like, hey, I got to get into the fit because they're getting 4, 5, 6. So that's really the key for OU's defense in my mind is if at the end of this game, Jeremiah Cobb is averaging 2.7 a rush, I think we're going to feel very good about the way that OU's defense is going to perform. Now, of course, there may be some situations where Arnold just throws it up to Cam Coleman and the guy comes down with it. He's extremely talented.
Yeah.
That can happen. But if you limit Jeremiah Cobb in the run game, I think that OU's defense is going to be in really good shape if that's the case.
Totally agree. Yeah, because of how aggressive we are, we're going to be in some, one-on-ones on the outside. And so far, our corners have been excellent. But again, this is the best wide receiver core, most athletic, most physical, most gifted that we've faced. And, those are safe plays. Whenever you've got one-on-one to just throw the fade, put it in a spot where your guys got a chance to go make a play, those typically aren't, unless they're terrible throws, typically aren't really dangerous plays. So I do expect to see them test us a couple of times in one-on-ones if the box gives them the look that they want. But all that considered, the level of trust I have right now with this defense is very high. I don't think that Auburn is going to be able to go down the field in long, methodic drives, run it, quick game, pick up a third and long. I don't think they're going to be able to go 12, 14 plays down the field and score touchdowns on us on a regular basis. What I do worry about is how aggressive we are attacking the run, putting pressure on the quarterback. They've got playmakers at wide receiver where they can take it to the house on you if you're in a bad spot. And Cobb, you sell out against the run, and he makes that it gets out to the last guy to that safety. He can make him miss and take explosive runs to the house. That's what I'm worried about, giving up the big 40, 50, 60-yard touchdown chunks. I think that's how they're going to have to score touchdowns on us.
I'm with you. They've got some explosive playmakers. Out of all the weapons they've got in the passing game, Singleton is the one that worries me.
Yeah.
In the way that they use him. I guess he got banged up late against South Alabama, but I'm expecting him to look like himself for this game. And one of the reasons, like, he's the guy that works the middle of the field for them. Like, you kind of know where Cam Coleman's going to be. He's going to be playing on the outside. He'll run some of the crossing route stuff, but Singleton is the guy that Jackson Arnold looks for in important situations.
Yep.
And he's their best guy at kind of finding the holes in the middle of zones in the middle of the field. He's got a very good feel for that. And then, like you mentioned, Ted, once the guy has the ball in his hands, watch out. Like, he's got juice. And they get it to him in a variety of ways, kind of the way that we use Burks and Satania.
They love him on the jet stuff, trying to attack the perimeter. And I think we're going to get a lot of that. Yeah. I think we're going to get a lot of the jets, the quick tunnel screens or bubbles, whatever you want to call that stuff, just to get it out of Jackson Arnold's hands and into their playmakers' hands on the perimeter and space and see if they can make something happen. Now, we've been really good against that stuff so far, but again, you go back, this is the best group of skill guys we've faced, probably by far.
Anything else? OU's defense versus the Auburn offense.
I think that's it. Turnovers. Here they come. Let's see if we can force some. And, I think that Jackson Arnold, he looked sketchy for the first quarter and a half against Baylor. When there's a little bit of adversity in that game, right? Baylor standing toe-to-toe, they came ready to play. He was a little sketchy. As the game wore on, they kind of asserted their dominance on the line of scrimmage. They got to the run. They got the lead. And he got more comfortable, and he's been comfortable since. But if we can turn the ball over early, get a lead, the crowd make it uncomfortable, I feel like we're going to see Jackson Arnold really struggle out there with his confidence.
Make him play quarterback.
Yep.
Make him drop back and sit in the pocket and read it out and throw into tight windows. Make him play quarterback.
That's it.
If you do that, you're feeling good about what it's going to look like at the end of this one.
Totally agree.
All right, let's talk about OU's offense against Auburn's defense. But first, taking a road trip this summer? Remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway, and with the Love's app, you can save big all summer long. You can save 10 cents per gallon on gas and up to 25 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app this summer and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
It's football time in Oklahoma, and you need beef built like our guys on the field. Premium, powerful, and ready to perform. That's Didier Ranch. They're a family ranch right here in Oklahoma, raising and shipping their own beef nationwide. Steak burgers, premium ground beef, and they hand deliver next day to the Oklahoma City metro and surrounding areas. Norman, Moore, Edmond, Yukon, right from their ranch to your doorstep, faster than the Sooner Schooner after a touchdown drive. Premium beef delivered. Visit DidierRanch.com and taste the luxury of tradition.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and proud official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. September in Oklahoma means one thing: OU football is here. And every home game this season will feature exclusive limited edition drinkware drops from Simple Modern. That means brand new designs only available at that game and while supplies last. You can also get $5 off our podcast tumbler with promo code GameDay on simplemodern.com. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, things we're watching for from OU's offense versus Auburn's defense. First of all, absolutely hate the situation with Troy Everett. Just brutal.
Yep.
Absolutely brutal. And it's a big blow to the football team. Big blow. But you also got some key guys banged up heading into this game, Ted, on OU's offense.
It's a reminder of how you can go from feeling like you've got some good depth to being incredibly dangerously thin before you even know what happened.
And we've got essentially no disrespect to Kent State, but that's not a good football team. We've got 2 bye weeks after this. That's how I view it.
Yep.
So some of these O linemen that are banged up, man, just got to be real. Do what you got to do to be on the field and play at a high level. Whatever that looks like, whatever that entails, I'm not asking questions. Just do what you got to do to be out there on the field.
Big ibuprofen day. Big day.
Yeah, ibuprofen, totally. Yeah, totally. Now, looking at Auburn's defense, solid group. Do I think they are an elite SEC defense? No, I do not. Do I think they are the best defense we've played? No, I do not. I think Michigan is I think they have some more talent on the defense than Auburn. That being said, like Auburn's defensive line is right there with Michigan's. I think this defensive line is clearly the strength of their defense. When you look at their backers, these guys can really run, man. But they are small, light, very light. The secondary looks like the weakness to me. They've been playing a ton of guys, and I think they've been doing it to try to find the combination they like the best. Those 4, 5, 6 guys that they like the best had, and I don't think they've found the combination yet. I think they were hoping to find it in their first 3 games, and it seems like they've still been searching. And when you consider that the strength of our offense is our wide receivers, then I like the matchup, our wide receivers against their secondary. And one of the things I was thinking about is what will Auburn feel threatened by coming into this game? I think they're going to think that their defensive line can hold their own at the point of attack. I think they think they'll have an advantage with that matchup. And I think they will be concerned about their defensive backs against our wide receivers. So, how will they play it? I'm expecting light boxes because they think they're going to hold up in the run game with the D line and trying to for the majority of the game trying to keep our wide receivers in front of them and reduce explosive plays. I do not expect them to come out being super aggressive, bringing a bunch of pressure. They love to blitz their inside backers. They love to blitz those guys. And to their credit, the timing's good and the speed they come with on those blitzes is good. But I don't know, Ted. I'm kind of just expecting, I don't want to say conservative, but I think they're going to be very measured in when they bring pressure because I think playing man against our wide receivers, I don't think they're going to love that matchup for themselves.
I'm with you. And, we're only 3 games in, but you could see the patterns emerging. You go back to a season ago, really over the last 2 or 3 years when we've had injuries at wide receiver and, problems in the run game, really getting our offense going. We saw a ton of man-to-man coverage and everyone coming into the box. Totally different story this year. We're seeing a ton of 2 high safeties, light boxes, trying to keep everything in front of them. Through 3 games, that's the majority of what we've seen. So you can kind of tell how the defensive coordinators view your offense and the best way to go about approaching a game as you see how the season develops, and that lines up with what we've seen.
They're multiple in what they do. They are a 3 defensive linemen and then 1 outside linebacker type body with Kieran Crawford. And he's a good player. I like him a lot, but they ask him to do a lot of different things and it's difficult on him, but they'll bounce back. If they can be a 4 down, even front, they can get into odd spacing. They got a little bit of everything from a structural standpoint. But at this point, we've seen this offensive line, these tight ends for OU have seen pretty much everything structurally you can get. So they should know their rules for all this different stuff. that Auburn is going to throw at them. If you get in big personnel, if you're 12 personnel, then they've got 3 linebackers on the field. Nickel comes off. They've got a Sam linebacker in DeMarcus Riddick on the field, and he's not exactly a big physical Sam backer. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Arbuckle thinks is best from a personnel standpoint against this defense. Let's get to some run game thoughts. Auburn is stout along the defensive line. Defensive tackles are solid. Edge guys are the strength of the defense. I mean, all you got to do is look at Keldrick Faulk and Kieron Crawford and go, yeah, I get it. Those are their 2 best players on defense. The guys look like $1 million. I mean, Faulk he's listed at 6'6", 285. And Kieron Crawford is 6'4", 255. He's got kind of like a Danny Okoye look to him.
Yep.
Like, these guys looked apart. They're both going to play on Sundays. I think they are the 2 best players on the defense. But I continue to believe spreading teams out and running the ball is the best strategy for OU. Now, is it tempting with how light Auburn is at linebacker to just say, you know what, let's go downhill at those guys and make these light linebackers get off blocks? Yes, it's very tempting, but this O-line for OU hasn't proven to be that type of group yet. So my mind is still spread run game. 11 personnel, remove Canick from the core, and try to create 5-man boxes and get to all those 5-box runs. Zone, the tackle power play where it's just the tackle pulling around. QB run game where you're using the running back as an extra blocker, whether that's lead zone, lead draw, lead sweep, lead power. Like, you can get to all of that stuff. If they do want to put Canick in the core in 11 personnel, the stuff that makes this group for Auburn move laterally. Now, I'm all for the GY counterplay, like as a changeup, but stretch, the split zone play with the wider track, like, I think that's where we need to live in this game with the run game. I'm just going to be honest. I said it against Michigan. I'll say it against Auburn. Our tight ends cannot block their edge guys, especially Keldrick Faulk. No chance. This guy, when he gets a tight end, he just kind of throws him aside. It's pretty impressive. So they got a better chance of getting the job done against 24 against Crawford. But one thing I think Canick matches up well with their inside backers because they're of similar size or smaller than him.
Yeah.
So maybe you get to some zone insert where he's leading on those guys. And that's a nice compliment to the split zone stuff. I said it against Michigan. I'll say it against Auburn. The first time Canick runs split zone, go cut these guys legally in the front of the thighs so that they are thinking about it the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You got to slow them down on the backside. I've been going back and forth. Like, is this a game where Mateer's got to carry it like the way that he did against Michigan? And I'm not quite sure he needs to carry it that much. South Alabama had a lot of success with just traditional run game. And I'd like to think that we can play at a higher level than South Alabama's offense in the run game.
Yeah.
But I do think Mateer's going to have to carry it quite a bit in this game. And one thing to watch is I'm really interested to see how Auburn lines up when we get an empty. We gotten a ton of empty in the Michigan game. And if they give you a 5-man box when you're an empty and you're spreading them out, it's very easy to get to some QB run game with Mateer and do a couple different things up front and just run him in those looks. And I don't think it's going to pop for like 40 or anything like that. But if you can spread them out and run it for 7 with Mateer, that will be a very big deal in this football game.
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time on this one, so bear with me. I know I said I like spreading them out to run it. I also kind of like the angles if you get in 12 personnel. And that's where I do wonder how much Arbuckle's going to do that because the angles are great. For example, they against Ball State, 12 personnel, you call it a pair, right? Where there's a tight end on the line and then a tight end in a wing.
Mm-hmm.
They the angles on like the gap scheme runs on those are just fantastic. You couldn't ask for better angles on counter.
Good back blocks and
Just everything down and then you're double team into these light backers. If your tight end can hold their own at the point of attack in those plays, you're going to be in business. But we'll see if Arbuckle thinks that OU's tight ends can handle those situations. I also think you get in that little tight end pair on the ball and in a wing. There's a lot of money to be made QB run weak side. A lot. So I'm interested to see if we get into that. Venables always calls it professional courtesy. Ball State got in some tackle over, and they did in 12 personnel, actually, but Auburn just struggled to get lined up to it. So like Venables says, you got to test if they've corrected that on the practice field.
yeah.
So I will be very surprised if Arbuckle doesn't throw a couple of those. Just say, let's see if y'all can get lined up.
No doubt. Yep, I like that.
Moving to some pass game thoughts. I think it can be a good day in the passing game for John Mateer. I do not think they are particularly great in the secondary, and I think they are susceptible to the big play. They've given up some big plays in the passing game. And I want Arbuckle to find ways to isolate Kanak on their linebackers because I don't think those guys can cover him. I like that matchup, whether it's number 6 Riddick or number 17 Xavier Atkins. Like these guys can run, but they could not cover Michael Trigg from Baylor. He absolutely cooked them in one-on-one situations. And I think Kanak's a really good route runner and has good speed. Like I think Kanak can go win in those situations. So if you have to get in 12 personnel and split them out, and that's how you create the matchup, then do what you got to do, man. Yeah. But I think Jaren Kanak can have a day against their inside linebackers if you can pull them out of the core and make them cover him in space.
He needs to have a day. He's the leading receiver for tight ends in the country. You got to keep those numbers up, man.
I can't have a drop off in the biggest game of the season.
No, what are we doing? Let's go.
Some other notes from what I've seen. I think you can double move number 4, Kayan Lee. He's very aggressive on the short stuff, and think you need to test him and see if you can get him to bite on some of that stuff. One of the things, going back to the tight end pair formation, if you put that tight end pair, right, guy on the ball, guy in the wing, into the boundary, it creates a borderline unbelievable amount of space for the wide receivers to the field. And if you can give me Burks and Satania to the field in that situation, all that space against Auburn's secondary, sign me up.
Yeah.
I know I said spread them out. I've got a lot of 12 personnel thoughts. So
well, if you can, if they like to play base and 3 backers out there, if you're in 12 with 2 tight ends, I mean, you could still do everything you do in 11 or even 10 in 12 personnel. You can still spread them out and you can still, create different mismatches out there on the field. And, you're kind of limited. Like you have to, are we going to play nickel to it? Are we going to play base to it? And if they play base, you can find a way to get Burks on a linebacker in space.
Also, if they play base to it, you got to be able to run it a little bit, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If they play nickel to 12, you got to be able to run it.
No doubt.
If they're going to go small bodies on defense, you got to be able to make them pay for that. So A few more pass game thoughts. Kieron Crawford, they ask him to do a lot. There's some situations like on the backside of a 3-by-1 formation where he's the flat player. If I'm Arbuckle, hey, let's just throw it to Blaylock in the flat and let's make this edge go make a tackle on our running back in space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's try to get him in some uncomfortable situations. If they're going to make him the flat player, let's make him play the flat.
Love it. Yeah. Will
I
route him.
I don't think we're going to see this because they're awful at it, but I would love if they played some two-man. They played some of it against Baylor, and it does not look good. I don't expect to see it. I think they'll probably just throw that one out. One last thing. I want to run the ball into the end zone, down by the goal line and in the red zone as much as anyone. But against Baylor, when Baylor was in 11 personnel, they played a 7-man box down in that area of the field. And if that's what they're going to do, you can just put Deion Burks, isolate him on a single receiver side, and then it's him one-on-one.
Yeah.
Sign me up for that matchup. Tell him to widen the split, and it's simple. Go win. It can be and we've seen Mateer do this quite a bit, like it can be a called run.
Yeah.
But if you get that look, if they are piled in the box down in that area of the field, and you got Burks one-on-one, it's just a hand signal from Mateer. And whether it's hey, go win on a slant, run a slant, corner, hit him with a return route, like all these different things. Like I think Burks can win in that situation against their corners.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
He should catch a touchdown in this game. That's how honest I'll be about it. Like if Deion Burks doesn't catch a touchdown in this game, I'm going to be disappointed.
What about you counting the touch pass as catching a touchdown?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Because I think we see a lot of that this game too.
Okay, few pass pro thoughts. Weaponize the snap count. Now, I think Crawford and Falk are both really good pass rushers. Are they elite? That's not what I've seen. But you got to keep these guys off balance. You're at home. We use the snap count as a weapon against Michigan. Remember, we weaponized the clap. You should do that several times in this game because especially when this group is bringing pressure, this is an antsy group. They want to get off the ball. So I expect us to have at least, let's go with 3 free plays in this one. You got to slow them down. You got to make them think about the snap count. Pass pro thoughts. Do not try to block Keldrick Falk with the tight end. Bad idea. He will throw them to the side. He's done it every time a tight end has been responsible for him in pass protection on tape. Pretty much every time. So just don't do it. Running backs need to be ready, man. This is if they're gonna dial up pressure, they like bringing the inside backers. You know, with that in mind, it's not like they're super heavy. This is not a Jayshon Barham situation at backer. But these guys play with speed. There's going to be collisions. You have to be dialed into your assignment. You got to know which linebacker the offensive line is accounting for. And honestly, if they bring these small backers into the interior and they're in the offensive line's count, you need to jack these dudes up. If you're 217 pounds and you want to come into the interior, you need to be treated poorly.
Yep.
That's just the truth. 3rd and long. They like to show 6 up. Just you have to ID who the defensive linemen are. 24 is a defensive lineman. 3 is a defensive lineman. 10, who I guess is banged up, we'll see if he can go in this game, is a defensive lineman. They like twisting in those situations. You have to know who the defensive linemen are and anticipate twists. Communication is key. You're at home. No secrets in a big game. Everyone, let's know where we're going. I don't care if they know if you're blocking them. It's all about being on the same page, letting the backs and tight ends know where you're working. They get to a rush package where they bring 4 defensive ends onto the field. I think that we can hold up just fine in that situation, but 15 and 24 are the concerns there.
Yeah.
Now, 10's got some nice raw power on the inside. I think his name's Amaris Williams. I think that's
Yep.
right. He's an
260.
interesting player. I honestly think when they go to their rush package, he should be at end and they should put Falk in the interior. And they've played him in the interior a little bit, but I think Falk's good on the interior. I think 10's better coming off the edge. But it's they're bringing 4 pass rushers in the game, whether it's empty protection or 6-man protection. They're not doing anything elaborate out of this look. It's simply them lining up going, hey, we think our 4 guys, we think someone's going to go win. It's that simple. Last thing, if they are going to bring some zero, which I expect them to do a couple of times, they're going to get aggressive a little bit during this game. You got to have zero beaters ready to go. Speed option, swing screen, or just the old fashioned catch the ball, pat it once, and let's see if Deion Burks or Isaiah Satania or whoever can run by a guy.
Go win.
Go win. Baylor was able to go win. We got to be able to go win.
You got to put that in people's mind. Like there has to be some risk reward going on when it should be a big decision to go zero on people. And if you could turn their lights out when they're bringing pressure and go in on a fade route and, hit big chunks or take one to the house, that's going to get them out of that faster than anything.
That's all I got, man. It was a lot, but it's all I got.
I like it. I mean,
I think they're a good defense, but I think there's money to be made in the passing game for OU. I like the matchup, our wide receivers against their secondary. I like it.
I agree. I think overall this is a good football team. Talent wise, they've got a lot of good players spread throughout their roster, but I think we're better on both sides of the ball. I think this is a game you should go win.
If the offensive line wasn't so banged up coming into this game, I'd be very comfortable coming on here and say, hey, I expect OU to win by 2 scores.
Yeah.
But the health of those guys and how they look, like that's clearly a big storyline heading into this one.
No doubt.
That's what's preventing me from going, this is a team we should handle,
Yep. And I as far as the way the game unfolds, if you can play this a lot like the Michigan game, like if we get a stop and a touchdown early and get them behind, I think Jackson Arnold's going to feel that pressure. The confidence is going to fall. This team does not want to play from behind. That is not who they are. They want a lead and they want to lean on the run game, quarterback run, be conservative on offense, and play to their strengths.
Let's get to call your shot. We asked you guys the number one thing you'll be watching for in OU-Auburn. This first one comes from Chad P. Smith. He says, defensive ends. Assignment discipline is crucial versus heavy QB run teams, especially QB counter. Look at you, Chad. Go Chad. With R. Mason Thomas out for a half, the guys behind him have to lock in mentally.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, and they'll give you a lot of stuff on the edge. Are you taking on pullers? Are you reading out the zone read? Do you have the back? Do you have the quarterback? In the blitz schemes, are you a pill player? Are you dropping to the flat? I mean, they're going to throw a lot of stuff at you. Again, it's nothing that we haven't seen. We should be very comfortable facing these type of things. Our offense ran it against us all spring to some degree and ran it against us all training camp to some degree. But yes, we got to be really good on the edges. And I like the depth that we have there, and I like the way that those guys are playing.
I'm with you, man. This other one comes from Will Estelle. He says, turnover battle. Auburn can make OU pay in ways the other opponents haven't done so far this year. OU needs to win that battle.
It is an anomaly, as we've said, that we are -5 in turnovers this year, as good as our defense is playing. You have to imagine they're coming at some point. And we know the quarterback we're facing has some skeletons in the closet when it comes to turnovers. So we need to put that thought in their head early and make them pay for it. And they're going to come at some point the way we're playing. Hopefully it's this week.
All right, let's dive deeper into this matchup between OU and Auburn with Jason Campbell. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
with ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch berries, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubw.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica has launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
South Oval Lager is the NIL beer, and it's more than just that. It's program beer with pride in every sip. South Oval Lager is brought to you by Bagman Beverages, a collaboration between Skydance Brewing and Red and West. It's made by Sooner fans for Sooner fans. Their mission is to build a brand that tastes like tradition while investing in the future. Every South Oval Lager you drink supports NIL in Oklahoma through donations to the Sooner Club. Find it at Skydance Brewing or at any of their local retail partners across Oklahoma. Email drink@bagmanbeverages.com for more information or visit their website, bagmanbeverages.com. South Oval Lager, it's program beer. It is our pleasure to be joined by a member of Auburn's radio broadcast. He's also killing it on SEC State of Mind on YouTube. And he was the 2004 SEC Player of the Year and played 10 years in the National Football League.
No big deal.
Jason Campbell is in the house. What's going on, man? We are pumped to have you on, brother.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on. Look forward to the conversation. And, I can't believe I'm still trying to get used to Oklahoma being in the SEC. It's still mind-boggling a little bit.
Yeah, it's good. Looks like it's shaping up to be a wild year in this conference as well. I mean, I don't know who the best is. It looks like we're all just going to beat up on one another throughout the season.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. When I was watching all the games this weekend, I was just like, man, from top to bottom, like the SEC is loaded. Like there is no, weak games. That's what you call it. Like in the NFL, every Sunday means something. Now in the SEC, every Saturday means something because, you don't want to fall behind because it's too hard to catch up. And you just look at the talent. The talent is kind of evenly across for everybody. So it's just a matter of who stays the healthiest throughout the year. It's probably going to be the team that gets to the playoffs.
The big story coming to the game is clearly Jackson Arnold making his return to Norman. You know what you're looking at when it comes to the quarterback position, Jason. What has your evaluation been of what you've seen from Arnold so far this season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Jackson is his confidence has grown, right? He's a guy that's over the last couple of weeks, he's really built a good rapport with his teammates. And I think coming into this year, I remember last year he was at Oklahoma. I think for the first couple of games, they was out all 5 receivers. And I think once he got benched in that game, I believe they played against Tennessee. I think he lost a little confidence. You know how it is once you feel like your staff is not as confident as you anymore. you kind of lose that as a quarterback, that edge that you have. And I think since he's been here at Auburn, it's kind of like a new start for him. And like I say, he's very appreciative of Oklahoma. And like I said, Oklahoma's put out a lot of great quarterbacks over the last couple of years as in the NFL. But I think he understood like, hey, I need a fresh start. And Oklahoma probably feel like they needed a fresh start. So I don't think there's no ill feelings there. But I do know like coming into this game, the biggest thing for him is he can't make it about himself versus Oklahoma. This has to be about Auburn versus Oklahoma. And he has to just play within like what he's been doing. He's been taking care of the football. That's number one. Number two, he's been making good decisions when something's not there. He's been taking it down with his legs, or he's been throwing the ball out of bounds. All the things you want from a quarterback to help keep your offense on schedule and not get an opposing team a short field. He's been doing a lot of those things, and he's continued to grow within his offense. So I think he's confident, but I do know there will be some emotions coming into this week naturally, right? But at the end of the day, this is not about Jackson Arnold, and he can't make it about himself. He has to make it about the team.
One of the things that we saw a year ago was the processing speed for Jackson Arnold was behind the curve. Now, you can lay the blame on that at a bunch of different places. Receivers being out, like you mentioned. Offensive line was, we started 10 different offensive line groups last season. The system, the scheme, and the type of coaching he was getting. I don't know where. Probably blame lies across all of those and maybe some on Jackson, but that processing speed and the decision making, have you seen him making the right decision quickly, getting the ball out, giving it, pulling it down himself? How do you rate how he's processing everything that's happening on the field right now?
Yeah, really good point, Teddy. When you think about, that's one of the things in the spring. I was watching and everything. Like sometimes he's kind of waiting to see the receiver open, before you kind of let it go. And to me, that's like, that's a trust thing there, right? It's almost like at some point has he been told like, hey, don't turn it over, don't do this or and that get ingrained in the quarterback head where it becomes trigger shy. Rather than just letting it go, you become hesitant because you don't want to make a mistake. And I think those are things, especially when it comes with defensive minded head coaches, right? Most of the time they're like, hey, my defense is really, really good, just don't turn it over. And when that happens, you become trigger shy as a quarterback because the chances that you would want to take, sometimes you don't take those. So I just think for him, you can definitely see a lot of that in the spring when I was watching him. And now I've seen him progress since summer. And then now the football season started where he's kind of making quicker decisions. And Coach Freeze kind of got him like, hey, make a decision, live with it, go with it. You're not going to hit everything. So I've seen the ball come out a little bit faster now than I did back in the spring. And I think the other part of it is, it's just, Coach Freeze kind of built the system to fit his skills, his ability and everything. So, but you're exactly right though. A lot of those things I did see on film before he did get to Auburn.
When you look at Hugh Freeze's system, a lot of people talk about, hey, all the decisions the quarterback has to make and all the RPO stuff. You look at this team, you look at Singleton and Coleman at wide receiver, and clearly those two guys stand out. But really, the offense is driven by the run game.
Yeah.
If the run game is cooking, it sets up all the RPO stuff and all the shots they want to take down the field. Jason, what have you seen from this offensive line and Jeremiah Cobb in this run game so far this season?
I'll be honest with you, I was kind of shocked that, we haven't ran it so much as we have early in the season. Because I know Coach Freeze is a coach that loves to throw the football. And you look at Pro Football Focus, they had our receiver core ranked number 2 nationally behind Ohio State coming into this season. And like I said, we have a lot of talent at that position. But the one thing I have to give our offensive guys credit about is they're doing what the defense is giving them. If people going to play too high shell and those different things, then it leaves a 6-man box, which gives you an opportunity to run the football. And that's what Auburn been doing. They've been running the football because they know when you get up against teams like Oklahoma, Brent Venables is going to have a great defense. They've shown it already in early parts of this season. Is their goal is not to let you run the football. So you have to be prepared to be able to throw the ball, especially in a game like this. But at the same time, you got to test the waters first, and you still have to do what you do and commit to it. And like I said, Auburn's done a really good job of committing to the run, a lot better than we did last year. Last year we got pass happy very early, but this year we've been a lot more patient with our run game, and it's helping everything else around it. And then the most important group it helps the most is the offensive line. Anytime you got two new tackles and everything, you got a guy to play left tackle for the last 2 years now playing guard. The best way to get those guys off to a good start is let them come off and hit somebody and not have to react to having to absorb contact and pass protection. And I think that's a reason why we've been running the ball so much early on this season.
It feels like to me, and you may agree or disagree, but if Auburn's going to win the football game, they've got to find a way to utilize the talent at wide receiver, like you pointed out, as highly rated as they were coming in, as athletic as that group is. Do you think that there's going to be a concerted effort to get those guys the ball, whether it's screens, easy completions for Jackson Arnold, or maybe depending on the looks, pushing it down the field? Do you think that's to come out of this with the win, they're going to have to get those guys involved?
I think definitely anytime you come to, we're gonna be in Oklahoma, right? It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be a lot of people there. It's what you come to it's what you play in the conference for, right? So it's gonna be a lot of intensity in this ball game. And like I said, the number one thing is who protects the ball first and foremost wins the game. Number two is what defense, doesn't allow explosive plays. There's going to be one or two plays because these teams are too talented, right? But it's the ones that don't bend, don't break, but you may bend a little bit, but don't break. And I just feel like in this game, if Auburn's going to have a chance to win, we're definitely going to have a big game from our receiving core because, like you said, Oklahoma's big up front. Their linebacker core can run, they can hit, and I just don't see him being as stubborn as some of the guys that we played in the past here the last couple of weeks, of just standing in a run man box, just allowing a team to just run the football. And him, he's been a defensive minded guy since he was at Clemson. A big reason why they won championships there. So when you get ready to go against this guy, you have got to be prepared to utilize every area of the football field. And you got to try to hit some explosive plays when they're there. They don't give you many, but if they give you anything, you got to take advantage of it.
Looking at the defensive side of the ball for Auburn, what do you think is the strength of this group? Jason, I've watched every snap they played this season, and to me, it seems like the defensive line, the guys on the line of scrimmage, is the strength of this group.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. When you talk about Keldrick Falk and Keyron Crawford, two veteran guys of the end position. Keyron is having an outstanding season right now. Keldrick draws a lot of double teams because of the preseason accolades that he's received. But when you think about it as a whole, that's our deepest part of our group because of rotation. We have Bobby James, Travis in there at the D line. You have Malik Blockton, but then you have the young pups that they're able to rotate. And it's not a huge drop off because of Dallas Walker, the experience he brings over from Kentucky. You get Murray, the kid from Sam Houston State that can rotate and play one of the end position. Then you can reduce Keldrick Faulk down to like a 3 technique. So you can utilize guys and move them all around when you have that much depth on the defensive line. I think Amarius Williams has been a guy that's really helped us. We're hoping that he's healthy and ready to go this week. Right now, we don't know, but he's one of those guys that he spells Keyron, and Keyron moves inside, and Keldrick moves inside when Murray comes in. So now you got 4 pass rushers on the field at the same time with 2 interior guys. But if you don't have Amarius, then that changes up your game plan a little bit. So I do think our D line is our deepest part of what we do defensively. And a lot of, like I said, is because of rotation. You're able to move guys around.
Well, I think I agree with that. Knowing that, just like we talked about with Oklahoma's defense, they're gonna stop the run. I mean, that they're gonna commit to stopping the run and force you into some other areas. What do you think Auburn wants to do? Do you think that they're going to pile in, try and stop the run, put it on Mateer's arm from the pocket, or are they going to, kind of change the looks on him? How do you think they play it out?
Well, I think, if you coach Durkin, I don't think you're too excited about what you saw last week of South Alabama having 3 long play drives of just driving the ball down the field, just running it at will, right? A lot of that was being out of position, miscommunication. And I think his first and foremost thing is, like any D coordinator mostly, is, hey, I got to stop the run to be able to win the football game in the first place. Because if you can run and pick up 5, 6 yards on first down, Now you're second and medium. Now that opens up the entire playbook because you know you can be third and short if you want to. So it's just a matter of, not allowing big plays on first downs, I think is the biggest key for both of these teams. Like I said, Mateer brings a different element because to me, he's just as good as outside the pocket as he is inside the pocket. The guy can make throws outside the pocket on the run very accurately. And then that gives him the opportunity too to get on the edge, which forces your defensive ends, right? To, hey, don't rush out of control. This is not the type of game that you rush out of control because the type of athlete that you're facing in John Mateer. And like I said, he brings a different element to that offense coming over with the offense coordinator and his quarterback coach from Washington State. I think once that happened, he didn't have to relearn the system. For him, it was teaching everybody else the system. So he became the third coach of the offense. And I think that's why you're seeing him kind of excel really quickly there at Oklahoma because he's become an extension of the two guys he came over with the other players.
Looking at OU's offense, we view the strength of the offense as Mateer and these wide receivers that
Yeah.
we've got. With that in mind, what is Auburn's secondary looking like to you, Jason? Have you been impressed? Have you been underwhelmed? Still up in the air? Like that group as a whole, what's been your evaluation of the way that they've played so far?
Well, coming into this year, I had high hopes, right, of this group because of the depth, guys who picked up in the portal to go along with Crawford and KN Lee. But then you think about it like, Baylor, I think they threw for almost 400 yards, if not more. And that's like, whoa, that's kind of an eye opener. And then, of course, Ball State is Ball State. They're not in the same atmosphere. But then you look at South Alabama last week. They was able to hit some big plays in the passing game off the RPO system, and you give up some big gains. And so, I think this is a very talented group. I think the thing is maybe we have to slow down rotation wise, just to hone in on guys. But early in the season, you're trying to play as many guys you can for the long haul. But I do think come this game, it's time to start hunkering down on okay, who's my ones, who's my twos. Threes you may not see the field, unless you have to. But I do think when you're playing against a talent like this in Oklahoma, and like I said, sure, we got three top 10 teams in a row we're about to play. So, yeah, and two of them on the road in a row. And then you get the bye week and get Georgia come to town. So we really got to start hunkering in on who's the guys we can depend on, who's the guys we can count on, and who's the guys going to lead the charge there. I do like Rayshawn Pleasant, the transfer we got from Tulane. He didn't play last week. Hopefully he's available to go this week. He's a physical guy, look like a pro style corner. Like I said, KN Lee and Crawford both. Crawford was freshman All American last year. But KN Lee is now his third year. And he's a full time starter. And then you got Rayon Schrader, the transfer from Miami, Ohio, that had a lot of people drawing interest. So there's talent there, and we have some young pups. But I don't know if you're ready for the young pups come this Saturday. You're playing against a veteran football team. I'm not sure I'm ready to throw a 18-year-old out there and say, hey, let's let's go get it because their eyes gonna be looking around, right? They're young. Like I said, yeah, you played against Baylor, but this is a different animal. Like this is a totally different. Respect to Baylor, they're a good football team, but they're not as big, I think, as Oklahoma is defensively.
Yeah. You talked about Mateer a little bit. Now, the quarterback position is good or better than anyone. Uh, what have you seen from him? What do you think his strengths are? And, through the first three games, what do you think the weaknesses and vulnerabilities in his game are?
Well, we actually watched him as well, and we thought he might be going in the portal from Washington. So, I've got a chance to watch a lot of his film when we was kind of looking at quarterbacks to pick up this past offseason. And of course, he was one of our top three guys that we wanted, and everything. So, just watching him, he has an elite arm talent. All right, so he has the arm talent to play at the next level, and he has the athleticism to make a missed block, not seem so bad. So, like I said, the guys, he's a competitor. He's a winner. Like I said, had a really good game against Michigan. I thought like to handle that atmosphere. I don't care you're a freshman, junior, senior. Anytime you change schools, and then all of a sudden you're playing in a big game like that, everyone's kind of watching. And I think, like I said, it helps him the fact that he wasn't learning a new offense. To him, this is his third year with that offense, so he knows all the ins and outs about it. Like I said, the guy does a lot of things well. I don't really see a lot of weaknesses. I think he's just like any quarterback, just like Jackson. I think both can improve throwing the ball from the pocket. And I think a lot of that is because when you are athletic, you have a tendency to have that clock in your head that something's not open immediately. Let me take off. Instead of let me get the number two, get the number three. And I think that's something both of them can improve on. Is just sometimes being a little bit patient in the pocket and understand you got a little bit more time than you think and get to those second, third progressions that'll help them out because you guys know as well as I know. If you start to run too much and you start to take too many hits, the season gets longer. You're seeing it in the NFL right now, six starting quarterbacks out.
Yeah. It's certainly a topic of conversation around here is, how much should they run Mateer?
Hmm.
It's got to be a little smarter when it comes to stepping out of bounds in some of those situations, getting down in some of those situations. Well, Jason, you've broken it down from pretty much every angle, man. How do you see this one going on Saturday?
Man, it's gonna be a good one, right? Sometimes you anticipate, oh, it's gonna be a defensive battle, then all of a sudden the scoreboard lights up. Then sometimes people think, oh, it may be an explosive offenses on both sides, and then it becomes a 10-3, 10-9, 17-14 game. I just think it's the SEC opener. Like I said, you just never know what you're gonna get because like the first 3 weeks, how much offense have we seen enough to digest? Right? Like how many good defenses? Like we know Oklahoma played against a good defense in Michigan, right? They're top 10 defense, but they had a young quarterback. And then you look at Auburn. Yes, we played against Baylor on the road. They're explosive offensively, but defensively they had a lot of holes. And then the other two games, like I said, it's not the same caliber of what we're playing against now in Power Four. Those basically were games that help get you prepared um, confidence wise and everything to put you in the position that you're going to be in this weekend. So I think this is going to be a close game. I really do. I think both teams going to come out competitive, hitting. But like I said, it's all going to come down to me, the quarterbacks, who protects the football, and from that standpoint, and who limits the explosive plays. Um, so defensive backs better come ready to play, and your quarterback, can they carry the decision making to know when something's not there? Not let me just not try to make anything happen. Let me just protect the ball and get to the next down.
Uh, other than turnovers, because we all know how big turnovers are, but when the game's over and you're going through the stat sheet, what do you think the one stat that tells the story in this football game is?
Oh man, third downs. I really think that's going to be the key because if you look at Oklahoma offense, I'm not sure why Jordan Ott's not running. He was a talent coming over from California, but the freshman Blockton has been tearing it up. That kid looks really well. So I think if you get to the end of this game and you say, okay, who won? You're gonna go number one, third downs, and then you're gonna go to rushing the ball. Like who had the best rushing game? Because to me that tells you who controlled the line of scrimmage. And if you can't run the ball on first down in this game and you get behind the eight ball, now you're in trouble because both of these teams can dial up different blitzes and make it a little bit confusing on quarterbacks. So you don't want to be in third and long. You don't want to be in, second and 10. You don't want the negative plays on first down. And I say that more so for Auburn because we're on the road, right? The crowd will be loud. So our communication offensively is you can't be having these false starts or these holding penalties. Like you got to stay on schedule with this offense against Oklahoma. Then Oklahoma, for them, like I said, running the football, they're similar. Like they want to run the football as well. So at the end of the day, stopping and running has got to be the number one thing because if you're giving up 4 or 5 yards on first down, it's going to be a long day.
One more question for you, Jason.
Mhm.
You were the starting quarterback of a team that went 13-0.
Yeah.
You guys did not get to play in the BCS National Championship game, but a few months ago, your leadership at Auburn has claimed the national title
Yeah.
that year. My question is, I guess it's two parts. Number one, are they getting you rings? And number two, what was your reaction when that whole thing happened, man?
I'll be honest with you guys, man. I respect everybody in college game and everything, and I think like I always told everybody, I said I've always felt we was national champs. Just because the way that we played that year, and it was just something about the closeness, cohesiveness. Where I'm still on a group text with 25 guys that we check in with each other weekly on just mental health, physical health, family, anything we can do for each other. It's just that close bond, right? So I tell everybody, I think we was a team that kind of changed destiny to bring in the playoff system, because if you think about it, year USC undefeated, Oklahoma's undefeated, we were undefeated, Utah was undefeated, right? So had you had a playoff system, how many people would have been willing to tune in? You know what I'm saying? Because so so the conversation, Siri wants to talk to him. So the conversation, is that how could you leave an SEC team out that went undefeated and not have a chance to play a national championship game, right? And then the other conversation is, okay, USC and Oklahoma started out number 1 and 2 that whole year and didn't lose a game. So there's a lot of things that came up that year. How do you move this? How do you move that? And the only way you can do any of that is what? Create a playoff system. And now the playoff system seems like it wants to expand every year. So I don't know. Or seem like they want to add 2 more teams. So, but like I said, it felt good. But at the end of the day, like we've always felt that way. And truth be told, they actually gave us national championship rings back then.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So
nice.
we already had the national championship rings. Now the bigger question is, if you was on that staff, do you get the bonuses?
Ooh,
Right.
you got
Retroactive.
I say
got
the
some
coaches
agents.
need to take those bonuses and give it to us as post NIL money, because we couldn't get NIL. Just imagine when you guys played, how's NIL changed the landscaping, just as a whole, just think about it. Like, you really don't know what your team's going to look like. That's why I say preseason rankings is so harder to rank nowadays than
Mhm.
ever, because you got transfer guys coming in. You got your high school guys coming in. Half your high school class stick because they don't play the first year. Half of them want to leave. So
Staffs change.
staffs change. No, so it's so many things that go into the game now in college that we're looking at. It's not the same game we played, and there's not the same brotherhoods that we have. Because guys don't stay together long enough to learn anything. They don't commit together long enough to go through the hard times, so that they go through it and they end up conquering it. It means a lot more down the road. It means a lot more within your locker room, because you was there during the dog days, and now you there winning a championship. It means something because you knew what it takes to get there. Where now, first time something don't go right, kids out the door, or they get jealous of each other because I'm not making what he's making. It's all these conversations that happen within the locker room that you thought was in pro levels now has entered college level. So now it's just it's about strategic and which team can come together the fastest.
Well said, man. Hey, we appreciate the time. I assume since you're part of the radio crew, you're making the trip to Norman, man. So we'll see you
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Saturday, brother.
Yeah. I'll be on a trip, so we actually get in town Friday, and everything. So you gotta tell us where to eat at, though. I gotta know where to go.
Are you staying in Norman?
I think we are. I think we are staying in Norman.
My number one Norman recommendation has always been Venuti's, Ted.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Benvenutis. You better call and get a reservation now.
You you played
Yeah.
10 years in the NFL. You're not
Yeah.
worried about the prices on that menu. You'll be
That's right.
good.
Hey, I'm
That's
not
good.
paying.
That's fair. Great point.
Even better. Even
Hey, I'm
better.
putting this on the radio style. I'm
Hey,
not-
I respect that so much. Jason,
Yeah.
you're the man. We'll see you Saturday.
All right. Appreciate it, Ted. Appreciate it, Gabe. See you guys.
For all of us Sooners, there comes a time when we need help. We need someone to fight for us, and that Sooner is Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. If you are battling cancer or any other life-threatening condition and your insurance carrier is either slow playing or outright denying your treatment, use the law to get the medical care you need. Marr Law Firm believes you shouldn't have to fight your insurance company while also fighting for your life. Go to see Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. They turn victims of insurance bad faith into champions. And 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, time to preview some of the best games of week 4 in college football. Let's start with Florida at number 4 Miami. This will be your primetime ABC game, Ted, 6:30 on ABC. Currently, Miami is a 7.5-point favorite. I mean, Miami may be the best team in the country. But the interesting part about this game, there's not going to be some huge talent gap in this game. These two teams are going to be close to evenly matched from a roster talent standpoint. The big question is, how does DJ Lagway bounce back off what I assume is the worst football game he's played in his entire life?
No kidding. That is, we talked about it all off season. At quarterback, especially a young quarterback that's not all that experienced, practice matters, and the guy missed a ton of practice. I expect he is going to get better week by week. Could be wrong. You know, maybe that locker room's gone. You know, maybe Napier's lost the locker. I don't know. But I've seen enough good from Florida that I'm taking Florida to cover the spread and have a chance to win the football game.
I don't think that's that crazy of a take, man. And
I felt the same way against LSU, and they turned it over 6 times and still had plenty of opportunities in that football game.
I don't think DJ Lagway's issues are things that can be corrected in a week. Bad feet, bad eyes, bad decisions. But I do think Billy Napier can protect him a little more with the play calling. Run it more. Give him some layups in the passing game. Don't make him drop back and read it out every single time. You know what I mean? Like, give this guy some easy throws. And I think especially if Lagway plays well early, Gators are going to make this thing interesting. It's very important that they get off to a nice start in this game. If they go down 10-0, 14-0, the vibes could get really sad on that sideline and they could crater. But we saw it a year ago. Just when you think Billy Napier is going to be fired and the program is dead and they're about to have to hit reset,
here it comes.
Last year they showed some life, man. So I expect the Gators to show some life in this game. I really do. That being said, no, dude, I'm with you. What? Give me Florida plus 7.5. Why not? Everything points to Miami absolutely handling Florida in this situation, but it's college football. Nothing makes sense. Give me Florida plus 7.5.
That's how I feel. And I know that Miami, they got it going right now. Okay.
No doubt.
And I'm sure that the fan base has started to come out of the woodwork a little bit that's been in hiding for, a decade or two. But this is not like it was at LSU, environment wise.
Right.
So I think that plays a little bit into Florida's favor, having just been on the road against LSU. This is a little more manageable of an environment and could be a fatal mistake, but I just don't think they're going to turn it over as much as they did against LSU. Could be proven wrong there, but I'm with you. I like Florida in the points, and I don't think anyone right now has. Miami's look good, but I don't think anyone is unbeatable currently.
I look at Carson Beck. He's been very efficient this season. It feels like Florida's goal needs to be, hey, let's limit Mark Fletcher in that Miami running game. And let's make Carson Beck beat us. Now, he's got some dudes at wide receiver. And he's played well. But we all know we're familiar with some of the mistakes he made when he was the quarterback at Georgia. Like he'll throw you one or two. If you make him drop back and read everything out and
Put some pressure on him.
make some tight window throws, like make him uncomfortable. And I think Florida's capable of doing that. That being said, Miami did beat them in the swamp last year. And I know there's a bunch of turnover on rosters now, but they beat them in the swamp 41-17 last year. So I'm starting to feel crazy about our picks. But one last thing about this game. Would it shock me if a game that has Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal as the head coaches, would it shock me if there were some game management issues that play a large role in this one? No, it would not shock me. Something to keep an eye on, Ted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. It's there does seem to be some head scratchers after some of these games, and Napier needs a good he needs his team to show up and play, but they need a good game from the sideline too. Like you said, put Lagway in some better spots, help him out a little bit as he gets ramped up to speed. And you're going to have to everything else in order to win the game or even stay close. You're going to have to be really buttoned up everywhere else. You can't just hand away, free first downs and field position with poor game management.
Call a game, Billy Napier, call a game to win the game.
There you go.
Call a game to win the game. It's like Brian Kelly said when he got all mad right after the game when that guy asked him a question. We played to win the game. So help Lagway out, and I think this thing could be interesting. Or it feels like it's one or the other. Miami or Florida wins by 3, or else Miami wins by like 24. That's how it feels.
I'm with you. And I feel like the way the game starts is you feel like you may have a very fragile football team in Florida currently. And if Miami jumps out to a 2 or 3 touchdown lead, I could see it snowball quickly.
Let's both of us on the Gators. How about that? I like that.
I don't know is that a good thing or bad thing? I don't know.
I'll let you know on Saturday. All right, moving on to the next game. We've got a marquee matchup in the Big 12 Conference. Number 17 Texas Tech taking on number 16 Utah. This will be big noon kickoff. The one thing that's interesting about that, the game is in Salt Lake City. This game will kick off at 10 a.m. local.
Big morning kickoff.
Big morning kick.
Kegs and eggs.
For the Utes. I think one of the biggest questions for this game is, hey, do you trust Devin Dampier or Baron Morton more, Ted?
And I'm not sure. I like Morton a lot. I think he's really good. And Tech has been, I guess I'm pleasantly surprised with how creative they are on offense and some of the things they do. Simple, smart, and he's a playmaker. But I think Dampier's maybe just a little more dynamic in the playmaking, but I'm probably going with the home team in this one.
Utah is a 3.5-point favorite.
I think it's going to be a close but high scoring game.
That feels right. I'd be very surprised if we get a defensive struggle in this one.
Yeah.
But it feels like a massive game for Joey McGuire. Because I do believe the expectation with all the money they spent on this roster, the expectation is that they play in the Big 12 championship game this season.
Been a whole lot of talk, a bunch of predictions. Everyone across the country, because of the portal and stuff, has now they've kind of faded from the conversation, but there's been a lot of talk about Tech, and I think you're right. If you want to be a team that competes nationally and starts to draw people out to Lubbock, Texas, to go win games more than just to go take a big paycheck, you got to win games like this.
There's no doubt about it. And that's why it feels so big for Tech. Like if you want to be a college football playoff team, you got to go win this game against Utah, coming off one of their worst seasons in a long time. And I know that they've added to the roster, and Dampier has has solved some of those offensive issues, but that offense for Utah is very, very reliant on what Dan Beer can do with his legs and, of course, with his arm. It feels like, hey, you got to shut down one guy if you're Tech. So we'll see it. Maybe my favorite part of this game is a tweet that I saw, Ted. Did you see the tweet about Coy Eakin, Texas Tech's leading wide receiver?
I don't think so.
It is I very rarely do, not very rarely, but I don't laugh out loud a ton when I see a tweet these days, but this one made me laugh.
Oh my gosh. The sunburn.
This is why you got to watch on YouTube, people. But the tweet is Coy Eakin is a fair-skinned fella, redheaded, fair-skinned fella. And the tweet says Texas Tech wide receiver Coy Eakin has been ruled out of the Utah game with a sunburn, which
good.
is hilarious. Now, if Joey McGuire has a sense of humor at all, he's got to put Eakin on an injury report, questionable sunburn. That is the only thing that could make this better. But yeah, that's one of my favorite tweets of the college football season so far. But who do you like? Sounds like you like Utah. Are you laying the 3.5, you think?
I like Utah. Yeah, I think I would probably lay the 3.5. Again, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. You know, 38-30, something like that, in that range. I think Tech has the ability to go win it. But I don't know. I've just got some built-in trust with Utah. It feels like when Utah has a quarterback, they are a dangerous football team, and I feel like they got a quarterback this year. But, I mean, let's be honest. This is the Dodgers versus the Rockies when it comes to payroll. And I kind of like you said with McGuire, I feel like the pressure is on Texas Tech in this game.
I think that's fair. I'll take the points with Tech, though. I just when an offense is so driven around one player, I just think that if Tech can limit Dan Pierce's effectiveness, then they're going to be in a really good spot. And they've got a more, let's call it, explosive offense than Utah does when it just comes to, hey, let's push it down the field with Baron Morton to those wide receivers. And frankly, I expect Tech to hold up well at the point of attack because it's time for those defensive linemen to earn those paychecks.
I agree with you. I 100% in agreement. I will say that, and again, I haven't seen a ton of Tech, but my feeling from watching them is they're talented on defense, but they're undisciplined. And I think Utah's going to have to find a way, and usually a quarterback that can run around, makes it like do some things off schedule, really makes an undisciplined defense pay. That's what they're going to have to do if they want to win it.
I like Tech. It's also very possible that Devin Dampier thrusts himself into the Heisman Trophy conversation after an awesome performance in this one.
Yeah.
Like that could be an outcome as well. But I think Tech's a little more explosive. I expect them to be a little more aggressive pushing it down the field. And when I feel like the rosters are pretty similar, Tech's probably a little more talented with what they've invested. I usually lean to the team I think can produce explosives.
Yeah. Glad we'll be able to get up and watch it, though.
10 a.m. local.
Yep.
Have fun with that one. All right, couple Big Ten games we need to hit. How about this one? Number 9 Illinois at number 19 Indiana. This will be your primetime game, 6:30 on NBC. Currently, the Hoosiers are a 5.5-point favorite. How about this? The first time these two teams, the first ranked matchup between these two teams since 1950.
That's crazy. I mean, I could have guessed it's been a really long time, but that's, 3/4 of a century. Yeah, that's a long time. Say what you want about Cignetti, though, and talking trash about the non-conference schedules and all of that, but they're still winning. And I think they're undefeated at home since he's taken over the head coaching job. That's become a tough place to play. So I think you're going to have a really good football game.
It feels like a huge game for both teams. Because when you look at both of these teams' schedules, if you win this one, man, you are going to be in a great position to backdoor your way into a college football playoff, just like Indiana did a year ago. Because you look at Illinois, the remaining schedule favorable. They win this one. They play USC and Ohio State, but they don't have Oregon. They don't have Penn State. They don't have Michigan.
They play both USC and Ohio State at home. And if they can get past this one, just hand Ohio State the loss, but a good chance to be a one-loss football team.
11-1 is in play, 10-2. Very realistic if Illinois can win this game. And then you can say the same thing about Indiana pretty much. Now, they've got Oregon and Penn State.
On the road, both of them.
But other than that, none of the other teams on the schedule are ranked. So this game is massive for both teams and what this season can ultimately be for them. That being said, Brett Bielema being able to play the underdog card, give me Illinois plus 5.5. I have not been impressed with Illinois' offensive line. And usually, I'm expecting a Bielema coach team to have a really good O-line. That's not what I've seen so far, but I just think Bielema is dangerous when he can play the underdog card. And I really like Luke Altmaier. He is one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch in all of college football. I think Illinois got the better quarterback in this game. And I think they have the better defense. It's not going to be easy on the road, but yeah, I'll take Illinois plus 5.5.
Illinois does seem like they seem like a team that travels well with the way that they play. Indiana, the one thing I'm curious to see is, can Indiana spread them out and be efficient in the passing game like they have up to this point? They have not been tested. They've played, nobodies. They just killed Indiana State.
Mendoza's been great against the cupcake schedule they've played. Guys look really, really good.
So we'll see if they can continue that passing attack. Super efficient. He's over 70% completions. Going to be way more difficult. Sometimes that, when you don't have any real serious tune-up, could be a shock to the system when you get out there and play someone that's on or maybe even above your level. I think it's a tight one. I'm leaning Illinois as well, but I keep going back to the fact that all of a sudden Indiana's got this home environment where they haven't lost a game under Cignetti. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but I don't know. Call me a non-believer or whatever, hater for Indiana. I'm not there yet with them in games like this. Give me Illinois.
Both on Illinois. There's one thing that's guaranteed in this game, and that is we're going to get something awesome in the post-game press conferences from the head coaches.
Without a doubt.
One way or the other.
Without a doubt.
There are going to be some barbs exchanged after this one.
We're 3 games into the season, and we haven't seen Bielema try and fight the other coach it's time to get into the national headlines. Let's go. What's happening?
This is the week, no doubt. All right, one more game. Number 21, Michigan, going to Lincoln to take on Nebraska. This is 2:30 on CBS. Currently, the Wolverines are a 2.5-point road favorite. The Bussin' Bowl, friend of the pod, Taylor Wan, clearly going to be very, very invested in this one.
Which, by the way, his video at the Hummingbird Festival or whatever that was, I that's one of the best videos I've seen in a while. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys?
Lawan is wildly entertaining. Now, it will be Lawan's Michigan Wolverines versus Will Compton, his podcast partners, Nebraska Cornhuskers, but those two guys aren't deciding this one. It'll be decided by the players on the field, and clearly the big storyline coming into this game is Bryce Underwood on one side, Dylan Raiola on the other. What do you think about this one, man? This is a big game for both of these teams.
I know it is.
And frankly, it's a big game for Oklahoma. OU's going to be cheering hard for Michigan. I think.
It's one of those things where you're kind of torn. I don't know. I feel like most Oklahoma fans want Nebraska to be good again. And I think they are. So like if I just had like everything was taken out of it, we hadn't played Michigan, I'd be pulling for Nebraska big time. And maybe I still am. I don't know. But I think you'll probably disagree with me on this. I think Michigan blows them out.
Whoa. Blows them out.
Yeah.
Double digits? 3 scores?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I don't even like it. I'm not even sure why I'm saying it. I feel like they're going to continue to find stuff with Underwood. He's going to get better and better as the season goes. I still like Nebraska. To me, I just still don't think they know how to win. I see too many like missed opportunities, and whether it's dropped balls or bad turnovers or defense giving up, massive chunks in bad spots. I still think Michigan has a big talent advantage, and I think they're going to I think Underwood's going to have a here I am type of game.
He showed up in the big way last week with his arm and with his legs, where you went, oh, yeah, that guy's pretty special.
Yeah.
And they said they're going to cut him loose in this one. I like Michigan too, man.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons why is I cannot get over just how uncomfortable Cincinnati was able to make Dylan Raiola in the pocket. I think Michigan's a lot better than Cincinnati on defense, and I just think that they are going to bring Jayshon Barham over and over and over again. And just things are going to be collapsing on Raiola, and I think he may make some mistakes. That being said, if Underwood goes on the road in what is going to be a very, very loud environment and turns it over 3 times, it won't shock me, and then Nebraska's going to win the game. But I don't know, man. I'm with you. I don't feel like Nebraska's quite there, and the fact that Michigan's head coach is not going to be on the sideline, and they're starting a true freshman quarterback, and we're going, yeah, give us Michigan. I don't know what it says, but it certainly shows that we aren't quite there with Nebraska yet.
And let's be honest, Michigan plays really well when they don't have a head coach on the sideline,
That's a fair point.
The track record's been pretty good. I think that Michigan is too big, too fast, too physical. If you go down the roster, I think they've got more playmakers. But, maybe it's a dumb pick and freshman quarterback goes out there on the road, which I haven't seen him be a guy that's shaken. Like, even though he didn't play some great game against Oklahoma, I didn't feel like he at any time didn't have composure. And I know that they had the little the little thing going on the sideline, but he didn't look like a player to where the environment was affecting him all that much. It was what was happening on the field. So I don't know. It's one of those where I could be wrong, and maybe I even want to be wrong, but until I see it, I just still think that Nebraska is a level below the top tier programs in the Big Ten, and I still consider Michigan one of those.
Think you got to call an aggressive game for Underwood.
Yeah.
Let him get going in the run game a little bit early, build that confidence, build that juice, let the team see it.
Yep.
Also let Nebraska's fan base see it. He rips off some runs that those fans are going to be going, "Oh, really? Come on."
I know it.
Look at this mutant. Now, there is a large part of me that wants Nebraska to win this game. And it's just so that Nebraska will release Matt Rule's pregame speech.
Right. Yeah.
Because, dude, home dogs against a team that doesn't have their head coach and is starting a freshman at quarterback, that is going to be an epic pregame speech from Matt Rule. Like, that's straight up disrespect, man. And his blood is going to be boiling, and that is going to be an all-timer before this one from Rule. So there is a part of me that wants Nebraska to win just so that that can get leaked.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, like is this Rule's third year?
Yeah, everywhere he's been, year 3 has been
this is the third
dang
year.
Good.
Okay. They've improved their roster across the board. They've got a good quarterback who he's not a young guy anymore. I mean, he's still fairly young, but he's got seat time. You want to talk about schedules, okay? If Nebraska can win this one, they should win every single game they play until they're on the road against Penn State in the second to last game of the year. I mean, if you win this one, you're staring 11-1 right in the face as well. So it's time. Like this is the game that you need to win if you're going to make a run back. Right? If you don't win it, it feels like, we're not there yet. We got to punt, and maybe it'll all come together next year, but I feel like this is somewhat of a big pressure game for Rule as well.
Totally agree. Before we started breaking this down together, I was taking Nebraska to win the game outright. But as we talk through, I think they're going to struggle to block Michigan.
I do too.
And if you struggle to block a team, it's hard to go win a big game if you can't block the other team. You know what I mean?
And I feel like Michigan is going to make it a chaotic game, well, at least whenever their defense is out there. And I feel like Nebraska has been horrible in those weird situations where you're scrambling, you're trying to make a play, and a guy drops the wide open touchdown. You know what I'm saying? We've seen way too many of those plays from Nebraska. And until I see them make those plays in a big game against a as talented or more talented team, I just got to go with what the past has told me.
Either way, the House Rules podcast is going to do some numbies this week.
Yeah.
Win or lose. People are going to want to hear what Matt Rule has to say.
I'll be watching that one in the booth out of the side of my eye while we're calling our game.
No doubt. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. We all make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And it's so simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, and they put their users first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure, and they also offer injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I know it's been a couple of days now, but it's got to be Baker Mayfield, right? Is this guy not the most entertaining player in all of football to watch and the easiest to cheer for?
Not only is he that, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
It's there.
I I don't know if for me, he's he's right there in the top 5, top 7 conversation of quarterbacks in the National Football League. The level
Fair.
of play is fantastic. That doesn't even factor in like the leadership piece, like what he means to his team, like what he brings out of his teammates, having the attitude he has. Dude, the guy is absolutely balling.
Yep. I saw the tweet. I don't know who put it out there, but one of the best things about watching Baker is all the Cleveland Browns fans are watching with you and are still so pissed about how all of that situation went down. And I saw someone from the Browns put out a tweet that said, "You're telling me this guy lost the locker room in Cleveland? Sounds like you need to get rid of the locker room," or something along those lines, which we know it because we watched him play at Oklahoma, that his teammates love him, will do anything for him. And it's because he wears it on the sleeve. He's hurt, he's injured, he'll go play for you, he'll put it on the line, he'll tuck the ball to try and run over a 250 pounder for a first down.
He'll hurt his ankle, but somehow be completely fine because the defensive back starts talking noise to him. That was Baker Mayfield in a nutshell, right there. When Gardner Johnson did that, and it looked like Baker had tweaked the ankle, and he just pops up and he starts talking trash to him, and Baker is just revived. That is him. That is the best way you could describe Baker Mayfield in one play.
It's crazy that it doesn't feel like it was all that long ago where his NFL career was hanging by a thread. I saw someone tweeted the picture of him yesterday giving scout team reps on special teams as, third team quarterback or whatever he was whenever he first showed up at Carolina, just whatever you got to do to get on a team. And here he is, maybe the most loved, like, of generally across the landscape of football player in the country.
I think it's him and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I haven't really met anyone that's like, not a Josh Allen guy.
What's funny is everyone was not a Baker Mayfield guy whenever he first went to the league, right? Just because of how he is. Like, if he's not your guy, brash, and it can rub you wrong until you kind of watch it play out and be like, the dude just wants to win.
Him kind of, let's be real, kind of hitting rock bottom and then scratching and clawing his way back to where he's at now. I think a bunch of people just like appreciate that.
Yep. Totally
respect
agree.
that. And
relatable.
It's very relatable. And also, he is just wildly entertaining to watch play. Like I'm choosing, I'm probably, and we have our bias here, but I think out of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, I want to see have the ball in their hands on a drive to go win the game, very similar to what we saw on Monday Night Football. Like, give me Baker Mayfield, man, because I know it's going to be entertaining.
It's not Peyton Manning with a 2-minute drive. It is strap on, we're riding a bull here for 8 seconds. Can we hang on, or are we going to get wildly bucked off and stomped? It is edge of your seat stuff. It's so entertaining. I love it. What a guy.
The Tampa Bay Bucs are 2-0 also.
2-0. Find a way.
Feels like their division this season.
Yep.
Just the way it feels. All right, who do you have as your loser of the week?
I feel like we've gone through this like 4 or 5 times recently, but I got to go back with Dabo. Now, I I could understand being in his situation and feeling like he's up there dodging bullets. Like it's really everyone involved. And I honestly I don't know what the answer is. Um, when you give a team that has been mediocre for a really long time, had some ups, just kind of fighting to stay relevant, but not really getting there. And then all of a sudden you go rip off the run that they did, couple of championships, tons of playoff appearances, winning the ACC basically every year. You feed the fan base that, well, everything changes whenever you take that dip back down, right? And the pressure's ramped up and he gets super defensive. He's like, hey, if Clemson's tired of winning, they cut me loose. I'll go win somewhere else. I'm only 55. I'll go coach somewhere else. So I understand it from both sides. It's just, I don't know that you can just say, okay, we'll cut ties with Dabo now that this is a really good job and go hire the next guy. I just don't know that it's that easy at Clemson. Clemson's not Georgia. It's not Alabama. Now they're in that region, so they can recruit really well. It's just, it seems like a unique job that is fit perfectly for Dabo. But I know it's just a bad situation. I get it from both sides.
If you have not heard Dabo Swinney go off in his press conference this week, go listen to it. But it's the first time where I've seen Dabo in one of those settings where I went, oh man, it's getting to him.
Where that was my like, you want me gone?
That was my takeaway. Like that, it seemed very out of character for him.
Yeah.
Like almost defiant. And I don't know where that's coming from. Like I don't think he did himself any favors with the stuff that he said. We all know how successful he's been at Clemson. It's one of the best program building jobs ever. We all know that. Like we know what he's accomplished. But the fact of the matter is like they have fallen short of expectations so far this season. Expectations that his success and his player success have created for that program. That's it, man. It's nothing more than that. Yeah. And that's why I thought the part where he was like, why are you guys holding us to a different standard than all the other programs? Because you're Clemson, dude. What do you mean?
That's what you want. That's what you want.
What do you mean? You want us to treat you like Wake Forest? Like, what are we even talking about?
Welcome to the big leagues. Like if you step up and play the way you did for, I mean, I don't know, what was it, an 8-year stretch or so? You play like that, that's how you're going to get treated.
Also,
that's what you want.
Also, like the way that I was trying to put myself in the shoes of like a Clemson fan hearing that, like, why is our coach saying he'll go somewhere else and win? Like, what is going on? It was a very weird thing to do. And I know I'm sure he's very frustrated. I'm sure he looks at it like, hey guys, everyone, you know what I built here, right? Like you've seen what I've done. Yeah, we've all seen it. But he's the one up there going, we're the best program in college football. Well, Dabo, if you're the best program in college football, you're going to be held to the highest standard imaginable.
Which is it? All right.
Treat us like everyone else, or we're the best program in college football. You can't have it both ways, man.
Set up your automatic private jet tracker out of Clemson, right? When some of the Florida job.
Interesting.
Some of these jobs open up. I mean, you said it. It's the first time that he's sounded like, I'll go coach somewhere else. I'm 55. I ain't going to sit on a beach.
That's where it was.
Just
it was
remember, this goes
me.
two ways, right? It goes both ways, right?
And I still think Dabo Swinney is not doing everything possible to have the best roster at Clemson. He's not. You look at all these portal additions that all these big programs are making. The base is still high school recruiting and develop your guys, but you fill the holes with big time players. Clemson has not done that. And that's my issue with Clemson right now. Like, I have an incredible amount of respect for Dabo and what he's done there. Everyone does. But the rant that he went on in his pressure, did he think that was going to help things? Like, did he think he was going to say all that and everyone was go, you know what, Dabo, great point. We'll back off. What was the point of that?
I don't know. I think it's getting to him, like you said, it's the first time he's really been that defiant. Now he's gone back and forth, but not to that degree. I just wanted to see where they're at. Like last year, they had the 26th ranked recruiting class in the country in 25. And you go back to whenever they were rolling, they were top 5 every single year. The year before that, they were 11 outside of the top 5 or outside of the top 10. I mean, it's slowly, as you pointed out, they were 11 the year before that. So they haven't had a top 10 recruiting class. And, I know that these rankings aren't everything, but they haven't had a top 10 recruiting class since 2022, and they were number 10 when, through that 2015 to 2020 range, they were top 5 every year, so they're falling, and it's so much harder to grab it again whenever you don't have the momentum and you're not like the cool program, the cool place to go. It's hard to grab it back.
You're Clemson. You're supposed to go beat Georgia Tech on the road. You combine
knowing full well that Georgia Tech is turned into a quality program.
No doubt.
You still have to go win that game.
It has not been a good podium season for Dabo between the grading scale he used after the LSU game and now this. If you guys want me gone, I'll go coach somewhere else, rant. Just not a good podium year so far for Dabo Swinney.
It is funny, though, how LSU's kind of looked since then. Like maybe his grading scale wasn't too far off.
Fair enough.
For both teams,
Yeah. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. For my winner of the week, all press is good press, right, Ted? Give me Tom Brady.
Yeah, I guess. Interesting. It does bring up a very fascinating question that I don't know that we've ever come across before.
I thought him sitting in the coach's box was a mistake. I thought that was a miscalculation on his part.
Yeah.
I get
it from his side, but he probably just didn't think. I understand. Like, I probably wouldn't think about that either, until someone brings it up and says, hey, maybe that's not
It was Monday Night Football, dude. He knew that a camera was going to be on him.
Well, I know he knew
he was wearing a suit and tie in the coach's box, which was maybe the most insane thing I've ever seen.
I know that he knew that, but I guess it wouldn't be my first thought that that's like a conflict of interest. Like, I guess I wouldn't arrive at that unless someone brought that to my attention. It's because it's not like the first thing I would think about, Well,
the NFL did come out and say, hey, there are no rules preventing him from doing that
currently.
But it's just clear that Tom Brady feels like production meetings are not necessary for him to do his broadcasting job.
Right.
And I know that he can't go to facilities and he can't go to practice, and that stuff was in place already. But I believe before the season, they said he could do it like on Zoom.
Yeah.
If you're a coach or a player and Brady's calling your game and he's, despite what Pete Carroll said after the game, he's involved, clearly. You're not telling that guy a thing, man.
No.
You're
if
saying,
anything,
hey, Tom.
It just kind of hurts him, I don't know, I don't know if people had that feeling beforehand that he's got the inside and has the potential to share some stuff. They may not have thought of that before, but they're definitely thinking of it now.
If I was a coach or a player, I wouldn't meet with him. I'd be like, hey, Tom, I respect you, man. You're the greatest ever, but come on, you understand this, right?
I know you're a competitor and you want to win.
That's the thing is people are like, I don't know. I'm sure he's very professional. Oh, the guy that's known as being like the most competitive human being of all time isn't going to use whatever he can to help the Raiders win games. I mean, come on, guys. What are we even talking about?
Right. No doubt he is. Which,
And
hey, that's how it goes, you know?
if I was Chip Kelly, I would use Tom Brady as a resource also. It's Tom Brady. But I I don't think you get a ton out of those production meetings anyways. But Tom Brady is getting nothing. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a situation where it's like, hey, Tom Brady doesn't get production meetings anymore for the games he's calling. Because like he's calling Cowboys Bears in week 3. And guess who the Bears play in week 4?
Oakland? I mean, Oakland. I'll never get past that.
That's fine. Yes. Oakland.
Raiders.
They play the Raiders. So you have that, and then Schefter's report that Tom Brady is participating in the Fanatics Flag Football Classic over in Saudi Arabia in March.
Okay.
A lot of Brady headlines, Ted. Brady dominating the NFL headlines.
Hey, we'll see what he's got in the flag football world. You know, I do think it's funny he was up in the coach's box. I wonder how he felt about the game that Geno Smith played. Oh my God. That was one of the worst quarterbacked games I feel like I've watched in a long time. And maybe I've got some bias because there were some fantasy implications for me, but not a good performance. And he's been pretty good lately.
Yeah, Brady's general demeanor every time they showed him wasn't a guy that was pleased with the level of quarterback play that he was witnessing.
And I don't know how much I would want to be a quarterback on a team that he is engaged with, because like I think his expectations, which I get, that's probably what they should be on a NFL quarterback who's making $50 million a year is what the top guys make, but he does not take it easy on those guys as far as preparation and demands on the team, and it's interesting.
My loser of the week, UCLA football. Fired DeShaun Foster after the 0-3 start. Remember, they got blown out by Utah, then they lost to UNLV, and then they got smoked by New Mexico at home, and it was over. I hate seeing it because I'm always rooting for the former players that are coaching at their alma mater because you just know how much it means to them, Ted. But it felt like UCLA had no choice here.
Well,
you can't lose to back-to-back Mountain West teams if you're UCLA. You just can't.
It turns out that sometimes your initial gut reaction is 100% accurate. And whenever we all saw the Big Ten media appearance from Foster, I think everyone knew, right?
It's like, ooh, this may not go well.
The whole opening statement was, I know you guys may not know a lot about our program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. So yeah, that was it. But way more awkward.
When I saw this, I was looking at it, and it's a Big Ten job. You want to be a coach in the Big Ten, or you want to be a coach in the SEC right now? That's just where we're at in college football. But the schools and the athletic departments' financial issues are well documented.
Didn't they? I was just thinking this whenever I saw that you had this as. Was it UCLA that said they would have to consider whether or not football could be something that they continue doing?
I think that was one of the other California schools, like maybe Cal or Stanford.
Maybe I think you may be right.
But they have some athletic department issues for sure.
But now maybe they're thinking that.
But it, let me know if you disagree, but doesn't UCLA somehow feel way more out of place in the Big Ten than USC?
Totally.
I don't know
Totally.
why. It just feels that way.
Well, number one, because they're terrible.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have no fan base. They have nothing positive going for them at
They've
all right now.
they've probably got the worst home field environment in the Power Four.
I don't know
It's a
that it's even a
joke.
question. It's really bad.
So there's a lot working against you if you take the UCLA job. And some of the names I've seen, like Kalani Sitake, why would he leave his alma mater? Why would he leave BYU to take that job?
There's you can't.
I
You you can't leave any Power Four job and go to UCLA, can you?
no. There's like I said, there's a lot working against you. I saw our guy Tommy Reese, Cleveland Browns OC, was one of the names. I Once again, it's a Big Ten head coaching job. You're gonna get paid a lot of money, but like if you're Tosh Lapoy, the DC at Oregon, are you leaving Oregon to take that job?
No way. There's no. Well, I guess maybe I shouldn't say no way. Money talks.
True,
And how many
for
options
sure.
do you get to go? But if you're already a head coach somewhere, and I know Tosh isn't a head coach, but he he could take a head. I'm sure that he could get a head coaching job if he wanted one somewhere. Is it a Power Four? Is it a good Power Four? Maybe not right now, but Oregon, they're going to keep winning. He's going to have plenty of opportunities. So, I would be shocked if he took that. They're just
They
the future looks worse than it does right now, and it looks as bad as it can be right now.
UCLA cannot take their time. They have a bye week this week, and then they'll play their fourth game of the season next week. Remember, you can play 4 games and still preserve a year of
Ooh,
eligibility.
they're
You
going to have
better
a hard
hire
time.
someone soon
Yeah.
because I've got a feeling a large number of guys on that roster have been spending this bye week exploring what their options would be. So you better get someone in place ASAP, or
You
else you ain't going to have a team, brother.
you got a big prediction of a bunch of soft tissue injuries coming up quickly
I
against Northwestern.
I I wouldn't be surprised by anything. Especially if you're a guy that really doesn't have an NFL future, but you're a good college football player, you got to maximize your earning potential in college. Do you want to waste a year of eligibility when you've started 0-3 and your coach already got fired? I'm just saying, man, they could be it could be the worst roster situation we've seen for a team since all this stuff got put in place if they don't move quickly. Now, I would like to say, oh, the bond between players and those guys, all the work they put in together, like they'll stick together. They won't fracture. I don't believe that. It, College football is different now, man. I'm just saying, like, get someone hired as quickly as you can, UCLA.
Self-preservation will happen. It always there's comes a point with every situation where you got to make the tough decision to abandon ship. So you may be right. I don't know, man. The future looks very dark for UCLA.
Birthday shout outs. Welcome to the world, Bryn Benson Seidel.
Happy second birthday to Freddie Lynn James and Jeffrey Sullivan James.
Happy third birthday to Otto Morris.
Happy 29th birthday to Jacob Streeter.
Happy birthday to Emma Cook.
And shout out to Devin. We're told you're killing it at work. Keep it up.
Also told that Devin's a big fan of the pod. So keep it
right.
up, Devin. Great work.
Appreciate that.
On that note, episode 564 in the books. Reminder, In the Weeds with Cole Kubelik will drop tomorrow, Thursday, at 11 a.m. on our YouTube channel. And then, of course, we'll be back here Sunday, hopefully in a good mood.
Hope so. Hope so.
Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend if you're going to the game. Make some noise.
Let's do it, folks. Come on. We need you.
Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.